So you're testing some ad creatives, but you might be wondering, when have I actually tested them enough to say if I should turn them off or keep them still on and test longer? In this video, I will go over how to evaluate your ads and what needs to be tested more. My name is William and I've generated over 10 million in sales for 7- and 8-figure e-commerce brands with performance creatives and meta ad systems. With that having said, let's get straight into the video. So first of all, the very first point to clarify is where to actually turn off ads. We don't want to turn off the whole campaign, because ideally you just want to be running 1, 2, or 3 campaigns, because ideally you don't want to launch new campaigns for new tests, but actually have everything just in one campaign. So the way you turn off ads should be on the ad set level or the ad level. And that depends whether you are running, for example, flexible ads or dynamic creatives, or whether you just have different ads in one ad set, which I don't recommend, by the way. But now, as we know, we should turn it off on the ad set level or the ad level, depending on what you're running. Most people ask me, okay, how long should I test my ads before I turn them off? Well, the answer to that is it doesn't really matter how long. What's more important is how much did you spend on them. Because let's say you're selling a product that's like a few $100s or even a few $1,000s. There are some high ticket stores that are actually doing that. Then of course, saying something like, oh, I've run the ad for like 3 days and it didn't result in any purchase, is having quite unrealistic expectations, especially if the ad just spent, let's say, $50 or $100. So forget the time frame for now. We just want to look at how much has an ad to spend for us to make a decision about the ad. Now, the rule that I always go by is 2 to 3 times of the desired cost per result. So let's say you're selling your product for $60 and you want a cost per result of at least $20. So your target ROAS is 3. Well, then in that case, you want to spend at least $40 to $60 to make a decision about the ad. Let's take another example. Let's say your target cost per result is $10. Then you want to spend at least $20 to $30 before you're making a decision. Now, why exactly that amount? Well, statistically, it just can be that if you're unlucky, you spend, for example, $15 and you have a cost per result goal of $15. And if you're just unlucky, it can be that nobody bought. But if you spend already 30 or like even 45, that means statistically there's a chance that's like smaller than 5% that actually you've been unlucky. Rather than that, it's an indication for the ad not performing. Now, there's one special case for this rule that you want to look out for. Previously, we established that it doesn't matter in what time frame you tested the ad, but it's a bit more complicated. Because let's say you spend 2 to 3x of your desired cost per result, but let's say you did it all in just one day, or let's say you did it just all on one weekend. Then of course it could be actually that there's like a temporary dip because it's the weekend, or because just of that specific day. And in that case, you of course don't want to make a decision too quick. So essentially I have 2 rules that I look out for. One is it spent 2 to 3 times of the desired cost per result, and 2 is it ran 3 to 7 days. If those 2 conditions are fulfilled, you can make a safe decision about whether to turn it off or not. Now, if you're spending 2 to 3 times of the cost per acquisition in a short amount of time, that usually means that your testing budget for that ad is just set too high and you should set it lower. Another special case is that if you're running a one campaign structure where you have just ad sets and you launch the ads in flexible ads or in dynamic creative ad sets, and basically the campaign just decides where to move the budget, it sometimes can happen that one ad set, one test that you launch will take tons of spend but doesn't get you any purchases. It almost never happens, but if that should happen, you want to switch the ad off earlier, of course. Also, if you're running this structure and this ad didn't get any spend within 7 days, it's very likely that the algorithm decided it's not even worth testing this ad because it wouldn't be scalable. But if you still want to test it and you're running a CBO, I would recommend setting a minimum daily budget. You can do it in the CBO, for example, just $5 or $10. And then if the algorithm actually misjudged the ad, you don't even have to increase the minimum budget like in an ABO, but the CBO will just allocate more budget towards the ad if it performs on that small budget. So following this will allow you to save budget on tests, but also to not turn off potential winners too early. No, but if you actually want help with making super profitable ad creatives and scaling your brand to 7 or 8 figures, click the first link in the description and book a free call with me. Also check out this video where I show how to find winning ads easily. Keep scaling, see you there.